We are back for another Christian review of regular books, and today we are discussing The Perfect Child and a Welcome Reunion. Let's get into it. For those of you who've never seen one of these videos before, here's how it's going to go down. First, I do my regular review, what you know and love to expect from a book review, including my star rating and my own personal opinion. But then we're going to get into my Christian review, and that's where we're going to go over the basic pieces of a book that may or may not have a fellow believer or, frankly, anyone wanting to read it. I give more caveats and any more information you may need about these reviews at the video that's pinned at the top of the playlist. Or you should be able to click here somewhere. I also do give an age range that I think would be appropriate for these books at the end of the review. If you're still here, let's go ahead and go to my regular review. The Perfect Child was never intended to have a duology kind of experience, but the ending of this book is such an intense cliffhanger that leaves the reader really trying to figure out what the heck just happened. A few years later, Lucinda ended up writing a welcome reunion so that you could kind of get the closure of the characters and the dynamics and what happened, because this ending is deeply unsatisfying on its own. Ironically, I've heard a lot of people didn't even know that there was a sequel to it or a duology to it, and so if you are someone who read this book, just know that's an option for you. The Perfect Child is that very stereotypical bad kid coming to live with you experience that I think was very, very popular in the early 2000s, in the late 1990s, truly, and even into like 2015 and such. I watched a lot of those movies where the kid was bad and the family is trying to figure out what that really looks like. And this book reads just like that. However, I loved it. I knew what I was getting. I knew probably where we were going with it, but I still had a great time reading it. I did struggle a little bit in the middle of it because there gives a slight nod to potential paranormal activity, and I'm not a huge fan of books that do that in the midst of it. I feel like we can just have it clean cut, a psychological thriller. However, ultimately, I still really enjoyed my experience reading it. A Welcomed Reunion, which again is just like a novella type edition, it's the ending that you don't get here, really did close and wrap up with a beautiful bow that I think this book needed and gave more clarity. It also isn't the perfect bow where you feel like every T is crossed and I is dotted. You still are left asking questions, which is very Lucinda of her. She just loves to leave questions on the table. So I think that was the perfect addition to it. I rated The Perfect Child 4.5 stars, and I rated A Welcome Reunion 4 stars. If you want to see everything that I'm reading and rating in real time, you can do so by following me on Goodreads. You can also find me on Instagram, TikTok, and I do have my own YouTube channel, so you can see more of my day-to-day reading and life journey. All the links are down below in the description box. Now let's go ahead and get into my Christian review. The first category is smut or spice, and Lucinda, to my knowledge so far, does not write that. That is true of these books as well. There is nothing even kind of hinted at in that process. The second category is explicit language, and with both books, again, there is no explicit language. The third category is violence or gore, because we are talking about a thriller, and there is some minor violence and gore in the first book, in The Perfect Child. In that book, you also deal with like animal abuse or animal mistreatment within that violence or gore. So if that's something that's sensitive for you or you don't want to read about, something good to know. A Welcomed Reunion, however, doesn't really have any of that. It's more looking in the rearview mirror, so you don't have to worry about that as much. Ultimately, these books are probably great for anyone ages 14, 15 and up. They'd probably have a really fun time reading it. And I personally feel like these books are better to read and more enjoyable of an experience than the movie versions of them. Before you go, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you can stay up to date on all of these Christian reviews of regular books, plus me and my mom's podcast. On top of staying up to date, it helps us know that the content we're providing for you is content you want to be seeing. And it's basically like a way to freely donate to our nonprofit that helps us know we want to keep creating this kind of content for you. So please do that before you go, and I cannot wait until we see you on the next one.